who made it to the workshop today. What's up, y'all? Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Emotional Workshop. If you are new here, I'm Katera. I'm super emotional, and I created this workshop for us to have a space to sit in our shadows, reflect on our thoughts, and come out on top. Hey, y'all. How are y'all doing? How is everyone feeling? Are you guys being rejuvenated? Have you started making changes in your life? I just want to know because honestly, I love doing this and everything, but if y'all not changing, then you need to reevaluate what's going on here, okay? Because we're season 2 in this thing. So that means we're progressing, we're moving forward, and we're trying to just do something new and different with our lives. Am I right? Because if not, you wouldn't be here, right? Okay. But enough with all that. I hope you guys have been great. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me through just whatever I decide to go through, whatever comes into my life, you guys be here. So I just thank you so much. We're episode 3, and I'm just excited to see how far we go with this thing. I mean, I know how far I'm going to go with it, but I'm excited to see how far you guys come with me. Let's just say that. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with being nosy in my life because I know y'all nosy. And we're going to go ahead and spin the block. Let's go. So this following week, it's been cool. It hasn't been nothing too crazy. I'm still in the midst of like trying to change my life. I mean, I feel like I'm always in the midst of trying to change my life, which at some point I got to be like, okay, is this okay for now? Or like we always gonna be changing. And sometimes I get frustrated with myself because I'm just like, yo, like I just want to be where I want to be. And it's like, well, you are where you wanted to be, so like when are you gonna be happy? And I know a lot of you guys can relate to that too, because I just feel like that's just the culture of our society right now, to be real. So it's just like feeling like you're left behind, but then feeling like you don't have the energy to do enough that needs to be done, and then feeling like you're not doing enough, but then feeling like you just want to go on vacation for the rest of your life, but then feeling like you want to accomplish things. So it's just kind of like, what's happening? But yeah, that's just kind of like the mindset I've been in. And as far as like figuring things out, I've been kind of brainstorming with one of my closest friends on like things we want to do together in the future. And we've been brainstorming for a while about it, and we even had like real team Zoom meetings, like going through all these different things we want to do, and like PowerPoints full of information, like we should do this, we should do that, we should do this, But me and this friend, we're really dreamy, so sometimes we get lost in the dreams, and then life happens, and then we're like, okay, well, maybe we can come back to this dream. You know what I'm saying? Because we still have our individual dreams we want to reach outside of our friendship. So it's like we're trying to just figure out what life is really, and just go with the flow of things. So we've been brainstorming some things, and I'm really excited to bring it to fruition whenever that does come. And I'm hoping it'll be sometime probably next year, because it was going to be next year anyway. So hopefully sometime next year we can really grounded and bringing it to fruition, because it's a really fun idea. It's something that I love to do creatively, and they love to do creatively and professionally. So yeah, it'll just be something really fun. But not much has been happening. The spin the block this week really isn't like as juicy as it was last week. I mean, not that last week was juicy, it was just exciting. But I've just been living. Not every week is just so spontaneous for us. We're just kind of, like we said, floating through life, trying to figure things out, and just trying to figure out my next move. That's really the space I'm in right now. Like, what is my next move? How do I make this move? You guys know, like, at this point, I feel like my life purpose is to take big risks and just see how it goes. And so that's what I feel like I'm in right now. It's just kind of like, what's that next risk? Is it going this way or is it going that way? And I'm just kind of like caught in the middle of like a decision I need to make. So, with time, we'll figure it out. And, I don't want to rush anything. I don't want to force anything either. So there's just so many different avenues and genres and specifics and details to get into. But when I get in this space, I'm always just like, what is your intuition saying? What are your feelings saying? Like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And my biggest mantra, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. And, I will definitely let you guys know as time progresses and we make it through the season. So, other than that, work is work. My relationships are still my relationships. Actually, I'll probably get into it on another episode and spin the block, but there has been a lot of transformation in my relationships, and I don't have any type of like romantic relationships right now, so it's not even in that. It's really in like my platonic relationships and in my family relationships. So there's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of just I don't even know the word because it's just kind of like, let's just say, a lot of shock. Let's put it that way, okay? And it's just been really eye opening and very clear for me to see what it is that's really going on, because it's just kind of like I'm confusion, but now I'm not confusion because now I can see, So it is what it is, and it is what it ain't. And I'm just gonna keep moving forward in my life and try to heal through the things that I've been through, and not even try to heal. I'm going to heal through them because that's just my whole life motto at this point. It's my whole life brand, is to self heal and to take that time to be strong and courageous, to go through the feelings, feel the feelings, release the feelings, and figure out how to proceed with this newfound knowledge. So yeah, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and walk on over to a word from the fam and get it cracking. So I'll see you guys over there. Hey, you guys. So I just want to come in and give a disclaimer. I noticed about 20 to 30 minutes in that my mic wasn't plugged in. So therefore, the audio is going to be a little and I just hope that you guys understand. But I'll talk a little bit more about it as we get through the episode and I actually realize my mic is not plugged in. So please bear with me. I hope your ears don't bleed. I hope hopefully I make it sound as good as possible, but you will hear the train really loud in the back. So I'm sorry, you guys. So this word from the fam came from one of the many tarot readers that I listen to. I listen to many of them, so I can't pinpoint which one. But the quote is, when you're viewing yourself, stop criticizing and start analyzing. Okay? We critique ourselves so bad. We critique ourselves, we critique other people. And instead of critiquing, we need to learn how to analyze the different situations we're in. Because when you analyze, you're able to see where you came from, how you got to where you're at now, what your next goals are going to be, what's the next point you want to reach, and how you can reach that point, how you can get there. And when you critique, you're just thinking about everything that you did wrong, what you could do better, what you can improve on, which isn't a bad thing. Like, critiquing is necessary, but if you can analyze without the judgment, which to me leads to critiquing, then you'll have a better result. You'll be able to really look at a situation and analyze it to the point where it helps you, it benefits you, and it doesn't break down your character and your strength and your confidence that you can make it towards something else, if that makes sense. So yeah, you guys, take that with you throughout the week, and just remember that when you're critiquing yourself and you're being super critical of yourself, to stop, rest, relax, and look at it from a different perspective so that you can analyze it rather than being super nitty gritty and super, I want to say, anal about it. Just like not being kind to yourself. Just like you would sit in a room and observe somebody. You can observe them and say, oh, they have on a blue shirt, they have on green shoes, they have on yellow earrings, like I do. I don't know. I really just kind of say what I had on. I don't have on green shoes though. That's funny. But anywho, that's observing and that's analyzing, what's going on. You could probably analyze and be like, oh, they probably like to be fun and expressive, or they, whatever you think when you analyze them. Now, critiquing them is just like, they have on a blue shirt, they have on green shoes, they have on yellow earrings, and they probably should have wore like a different color earring, or they probably shouldn't have wore those shoes, or it would be really better if they did it this way. And it's like, yes, that's analyzing, but it's also critiquing in a negative light rather than embracing what already is and saying, well, this is a reason why it could be this way, or this is a reason why it could be this way, rather than it should be this way, or it would be better if it was this way. So I hope I'm making myself clear, and I hope that you're able to see the distinction of what I'm trying to say here when it comes to critiquing and analyzing. And if not, there's always Google and there's always the dictionary. So yeah. Anywho, you guys, are gonna go ahead and get into the nitty gritty, the bulk of the show, of every show, okay? And that's Fellowship Hour, y'all. So let's go ahead and walk on over to the Fellowship Hall. Before we get started in this Fellowship Hour, y'all, I remember last week, I'm just now remembering this. I said, let's head over to the sanctuary. And when I said it, I was like, I don't think that's what I normally say. I swear. When you get back into doing something that you haven't done in a while, it's really like, what did I used to do? You got to keep practicing so you can get back to it. But it's the Fellowship Hall, okay? And if you are confused as to why I name my segments these things, you can always go back to the introduction episode of season 1, okay? And it'll tell you everything as to what you can expect out of this podcast and what the segments mean and why I chose that and just the history behind the pod. I mean, who don't want the history? I want the history, okay? So go check it out, all that good stuff. But anywho, today we are talking about what do you want? It can all be so simple. It sounds so simple, but when we really think about it, when I start to break it down, you're going to realize that it's not our first nature or second nature or whatever to choose what we want and really decide what do we want. It's really not that easy. And I mean, we could use the example of figuring out what to eat every day. Like, it's just not that easy to figure out what you want. Even if you meal prep, you just like, I mean, if you meal prepped, you're probably just going to be like, all right, I'm just going to eliminate the decision because I need to stick to my goals and be consistent. And so I'm going to eat this food that I prepared for the week. But sometimes when you get in a mood for something else, you're just like, now what do I want? I don't know if I really want that. Do I want something else? So yes. So what I want to start with is, one thing we always focus on as humans is the negative side of almost everything. Okay, we just tend to focus on the negative, and it really boils down to always honing down on what we don't want in our life. We're always just like, I don't want that, I don't want this, or you can get that away from me. You know what I'm saying? But how many times are we just like, you know what? I want this. This is for sure. I know I want this. Forget what I don't want. I know I do want this. And I remember I was in a relationship, and when I said something to them where I was like, you're always talking about what you don't want. Like, no, I didn't say that. I said, well, you don't ever know what you want. That's what I said. I said, you don't ever know what you want. Like, you're always just kind of like never knowing what you want. And they were like, well, I know what I don't want. As if that was better. It's just like, I mean, to an extent, it is okay because it's like, at least you know what to stay away from. But if you continue to focus on what you don't want, people don't realize that more of what you don't want is going to come because that's all you're focusing your energy on. Energy grows where energy flows. And I'm going to forever live down that quote. It's just like, if you focus on this thing, more of it comes. There's no way that you can bring in something into your life if you're not focused on it. You don't have to be directly focused on the biggest goal in life, but if you're focused on the little aspects of those things in life, then you're able to eventually bring the bigger picture to you. So like, what I'm saying with that is like, let's say your biggest goal is to be one of the hottest producers ever in life. Like, you just want to touch all the stars, all of the musicians, and be a huge producer, right? And so you start doing DJing. You might do a little open mic night because because you can sing or something, and you made up a song or something like that. Like you're doing little things that you want to do, that you desire to do. And they pique your interest, they make you passionate, all that kind of stuff. And by doing enough of those small little things, you eventually reach that goal of becoming a producer, you know? Of course, that takes a while, but I'm just trying to give you what it looks like to focus on the smaller things that you do want. Now, let's say you still have that big goal of wanting, or you actually don't really know the big goal, you know, but you know that you don't want to work a 9 to 5. You know that you don't want to have a predictable life. You know that you don't like what you're currently doing. You know that you don't want to feel this way. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets specific as to what you don't want, but how is anything supposed to come to you if you're not saying what you do want? If you're just always focused on, well, I don't want that, I don't want that, it's just like, well, the universe is really like, well, what do we give you, girl? What do we give you? If you're not telling us, like, we're here to help. We're not here to live your life. That's just number one. We are here to help and guide you as long as you tell us what you want and you do things towards those things. Because without work, faith is dead. No manifestation will work without work. Let's just put it that way. So if you're not willing to explore what you do want and only just continue to say what you don't want, then we're going to continue to give you more of that. And that is what I feel like I experienced with that partner I was with, because they were just kind of like, I don't know what I want. And I'm like, it's okay to not know what you want, but it's also food for thought to stop thinking about what you don't want and to start exploring things to figure out what you do want. Because, of course, as you're exploring things to figure out what you do want, you're going to come across a lot of things that you don't want. You just push it aside and keep it moving, but you won't focus on it. You'll keep striving towards the goal. Like, the goal could literally be to figure out what you want. It could literally be that. And because of that simple intention, you will open up bigger doors for yourself. You will allow things to come to you for you to explore, to pique your interest, to pique your passion. All that stuff will start to align for you because you're choosing to go on a journey of figuring out what you want. But if you're choosing to stay where you're at and choosing to just be miserable until something comes along and makes you happy, then you're going to stay there. You're going to stay there. So when I say that we focus on negativity as humans, it's like literally in our full society. It's so much consumed in our society. Like, our society is a very fear-based society, at least when it comes to the US. I can't speak for other countries because I don't live there, but I live here in the US, and it's just kind of like we are very fear-mongled. Like, that all our news is very fear-based. Good things come into your awareness if you create your timeline to be that way, if you create your own algorithm to be that way. And by algorithm, I mean in your life, on social media, wherever. What you choose to focus on, more comes into your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many times that I'll be at work and people will be like, oh my God, did you see what's been happening in the world or on the news? And I'm just like, what you talking about? Like, I don't know what that is. Because I like to cultivate stuff to have a positive light in my life. I understand there is a need for balance. Like, I can't just be oblivious out here or else I'll be real lost and confused. I mean, I could go off the grid. It's okay to go off the grid if that's what you want to do, but that's not the life that I really want to live at this moment. So it is crucial for me to be aware of some things. So, it's inevitable for me to get the biggest news, because on my timelines, no matter how positive it is on on my social media, I still am going to get those glimpses of, okay, here's what's going on. Here's the newest, funniest thing. Here's the newest crazy thing that happened, like whatever. Still going to get that, but in the same breath, I am making sure that I create some type of positivity in my life to keep going. And in our society, because negativity is everywhere, people make that their full identity. They only focus on the negative. I used to have a friend that's like that. I feel like they've changed now. I don't feel like they're as negative anymore, but they used to just kind of just always focus on what could go wrong, what's super negative, what's the down part of all of it. And I'm just like, yo, like, can we be happy? Can we choose to be happy today? Like, I would love that. I would really love that. So, sometimes it's hard to do that, and it's really hard to do that And the people who try to combat the negativity that surrounds them, they have a time. They have a time. I can't say it's always hard for them. Some people it's easy, but a lot of us, it's hard to combat the negativity because our friends are caught up in the negativity. Our family's caught up in the negativity. Our coworkers, Lord, they're really caught up in the negativity. So it's just kind of like, how do we combat this? How do we do this? And it really shows and proves how negative this society is because we have so many self-help books and so many self-help channels and speakers, and just here I am trying to help you guys too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like we get so lost in the fact that, I don't know, we just get lost in the fact that things are negative and we can't pull ourselves into that positive light sometimes. And so having these tools around us bring us back to our center, bring us back to just being, just being with oneself and realizing that we're a part of something way bigger, and the small, minute things shouldn't ruin our experience in life. It shouldn't ruin our perspective, and it shouldn't ruin how we interact with the world, just being in that negative energy. And so being in that negative energy definitely takes you away from thinking about the positive side of your life, figuring out what you want that's going to make you happy. It just keeps you in that energy of like, oh, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this, I don't want that, and it could just mess up your whole process of really creating the life that you want to live. So I want you to sit and think, like, how many times have you just like sat and complained about the things that you didn't want, or just went on a rampage about what you didn't want? That comes down to jobs, that comes to lovers, that comes to friends. I'm rewatching Insecure right now, and if you guys watch Insecure, you already know what it is. I really don't rewatch shows unless I really love the show. So the only shows I've fully rewatched is Moesha, Girlfriends, and now Insecure. I guess you can kind of see what my genre is here. But I rewatch those shows because they have so many valuable lessons in them, and they just allow us to be human, right? And on Insecure, at the very first season, like, I'm watching Insecure, like, I haven't seen it before. Like, I'm in it, like, what's gonna happen next? Knowing I know what's gonna happen next, but I don't remember all the details, so it's really exciting to rewatch. So on the first season, it might have been the second season too. Really, Issa, when I first watched this back in 2016-ish, I guess 2016, 2017, I had a different perspective of Issa. I was just kind of like, yo, Lawrence is tripping. Issa deserves what she wants, and if she wants him back, she deserves him. I was just so on her side, really, because I was kind of like her a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But now looking back on it, I'm like, yo, Issa is tripping. She is tripping, like, thinking that she could just do whatever she want to do and everything's just going to be okay, you know what I'm saying? And she just had this entitlement about her life, And the point I want to make is that she complains so much on the first season about Lawrence, like, complains so much about him. And she was just kind of like, well, I'm sick of him. I want somebody new. The relationship's dead. We don't even have sex. She was, she was very valid in all of the points that she was making. And where I feel like she messed up is that she could have had a conversation with him and really expressed all of these things, right? We're not going to get into all that, but it was just the fact that she was complaining about this and complaining about that and complaining about this. And to me, I feel like she would have gotten what she wanted if she told him what she wanted. She did after things blew up, you know what I'm saying? She did after she started being real passive aggressive with him and like just saying different things. Like, she wasn't really forward with him. And if she was forward and would have been like, hey, I really don't like the fact that you've been working on this business plan for 2 years. I've had to cover all the bills. I never really said that I would cover all the bills. So I don't know why you think it's okay to just kind of float and wait on this business plan because you've been creating it for 2 years or you're going to launch, So if she would have communicated that, and if she would have been like, I understand that you're in a rough patch right now, but our relationship is suffering because we're not having sex. So it's just kind of like, if she would have communicated what she wanted, he would have known and he would have started to make some changes. Now, that doesn't take him off the hook though. Okay, we're not here to talk about the relationship, but that doesn't take him off the hook just because she didn't say it forwardly, because he should still have some kind of awareness of the situation, no matter if she says something or not. But how does he fully know if she doesn't say anything? So that's just an example I wanted to use when it comes to the things that we think about what we don't want, and we're telling our friends, I don't want this job, or we're telling our lovers, I don't like this friend, I don't want this friend no more, or we're telling our friends, I don't want this lover because they're whatever. Instead of being like, I really wish I had a partner that was like this, or I really want friends that are like this, or I want a job that's going to do this for me, and then start working towards that thing. Because when we just focus on that negative, we get stuck in the negative, and then we start being passive aggressive, and then Issa ended up cheating. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, instead of just talking about it and then if things didn't change, moving on and ending things gracefully, she cheated, wanted to have her guy still, and it was like, nah, sis, nah, you can't do that. Okay. So it's, the negativity leads to more negativity, if that makes sense to you. Like, being focused on what you don't want led to more negativity in Issa's life. And she was just kind of like, okay, well, since I'm not getting what I want here, even though I haven't communicated exactly what I want, I'm going to go over here and try to figure this out. Where it was like her ex high school boo or whatever. And they got real close, ended up doing some things, and then she felt terrible, after doing that. And instead of just communicating with her partner, like, this ain't working, we need to go our separate ways. And it's like, she communicated it in a way, but she left him on a cliffhanger. She didn't really tell her current boyfriend, hey, we're breaking up. She was just like, I don't know what we should do, and then kind of ghosted him for like a week. It was just negativity after negativity after negativity, when positivity could have been brought into the situation. A gleam of hope, a gleam of just positive communication, just being like, hey, like, I want this, I don't want this. If you don't want this, I want to move on in another relationship, or I want to move on and be single and try to figure myself out, whatever. But figuring out what you want leads you to better changes than causing a train wreck because you're just filled with negativity and negative thoughts. I just hope I brought that around for y'all. It makes sense to me. I just hope that I'm communicating it well. So I want to recommend a book to you guys, which I have so many books that I would recommend. That's why we're going to have to do a book season, because the books, I love research. Okay, I love research, and I will explain when that season comes why I'm going to do a book season. But I'm a book report girl. Okay, I'm an essay girl. I'm a 50 pages essay girl. I love to write, and I don't like to just like I don't like to write fiction things. I like to write nonfiction things. I like to do research, pull out the truth of things and facts and all that kind of stuff. So, anywho, I want to recommend this book called The Secret. It's a very popular book. I'm pretty sure you've seen it before. I mean, it's very popular. And it kind of talks about what I'm talking about here. And it really focuses in on changing your mindset in order to adapt and to bring change into your life. If you believe something will happen, it will happen. If you don't believe it will happen, it will not happen. And you have to learn how to communicate what you want in a specific way, okay? Whether it's writing it down in your journal, talking to yourself, meditating, praying, if you're a prayer, talking to the universe, if you're religious, talking to whoever you believe in, whatever. If you're connected with your ancestors, talking to them. You have to be specific in what you want, okay? Because these different energies and entities do not recognize the negatives, which are your don'ts, your nots, no's, don'ts, will not, anything with a no or anything with a negative meaning to it, like not wanting it, none, no, don't, these words I'm saying, breathe negative energies into them. So they don't recognize that. They recognize what you do. So if you were to say, I don't want to have pizza every day, okay? When you like go to school or go to work or something like that, you keep thinking about what you don't want. And like I said, don't is a negative word that is not recognized by these different entities. So I'm going a little deep here. If this is not your thing, just wait on it. Okay, we'll get off of it. But this is something that I think about a lot. And this is something they talk about in The Secret. the book The Secret. So if you say, I don't want pizza every day when I go to school or work, and the only thing that the source that you're talking to hears is, I want pizza every day that I go to work, because they don't recognize the negative words. They don't recognize no and don't and all that kind of stuff. So when you continue to focus on things you don't want, or what you don't want to continue to see, or whatever, you continue that. Okay, you just start to make it your whole entire life, because energy grows where energy flows. Point blank, period. And I just want you guys to read that book, because that book really will help you change your mindset, and it will really allow you to see, okay, let me switch my thinking. Let me switch how I communicate. Let me switch whatever is holding me back from gaining this positive insight about where I want to go next. It'll help you in your relationships, communicating to people. Like I said, the whole Issa thing. It'll help you at work. It'll help you just in your private, personal life with self. So it's something to really think about. If you have them funds, go buy The Secret. If not, I'm pretty sure you can rent it at a library. It's very popular. So check it out. So one example I have for not knowing what you want, right, is wanting a different job, or wanting to get into a different job, but you keep, every time you go to look for jobs, you keep looking at the same thing, the same type of job you're already doing that you don't like. You keep looking because you're so focused on not wanting that job, not wanting to be in that field, that you continue to look at it, because you're not taking up the mental energy or mental space to look and explore what you do want to work in, what field you would love to be in. So then you feel defeated, because all you keep seeing is the things that you're already in, the things that you don't want, because that's where your focus is. Your focus is not, let me explore. What is it that I really like to do? What is it that fuels me up? What is it that I can learn that can bring me money and I can do just different things with? What can I do, right? Rather than, I really hate this job. I really hate doing this work. Let me go look for another job. I know I don't want to do this. I know I don't want to do this. I know I don't want to do this. And you just continue to say that and scroll on the job boards, and you're saying the same thing, because you're just like, well, I don't want that. I don't want that. Rather than taking that time, like I said, to explore, what do you want? What do you want? Not what, you know what I'm saying. What do you want? So embrace the unknown. That's really the biggest thing, especially if you're caught in that negative energy of what you don't want. Because some of us aren't caught there, but some of us are. And if you are, you just need to start to think, how can I hone down on what I love to do? How can I hone down on something that lights me up, right? Especially if you're in the whole job market thing. One personal example I have for myself is when I was in a situationship, right? That situationship was just really bad for me, okay? But it was something that was hard for me to let go of. And there was just so many times where I was like, yo, I do not want to be with this person at all, okay? Sorry to come in all like, what's going on? My audio, my mic wasn't plugged in, so the last 30 minutes probably sounded a little rough. Hopefully not. Hopefully I edited it enough to sound better, but I just realized that it was on the wrong mic and I'm not about to re-record this. So we're just gonna keep going and pray for the best. Okay. So like I was saying, I did not want to be with that person. And so that's all I would think about is like, yo, I need to get away from this, because like I just don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to be with someone who makes me feel as if this is all I can get, you know? And that's all I would focus on until I shifted my perspective, until I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about them no more. Let me worry about what I do want. Okay. I know I want a person that's like this. I know I want a person that's like that. And I know I want to get away from this situation. So I started making moves. You know, I started figuring out, how can I move away from this? How can I move towards something that I want in life rather than staying with this? I rather do something else. So I made that happen for me. I was able to transform out of that situation, out of that negative energy, even being super uncertain about what I did want, even though I was certain about what I wanted, right? I was uncertain about how I was going to get there, but I was willing to go through the adventure and through the journey in order to make it to where I wanted to be. So I say all that to say, get out of the negative mindset of what you don't want and start thinking about what you do want. Every time you think about, oh, I don't want this, immediately come right behind it and say something like, I want this though. I don't want this, but I do want this. And then eventually start to do more of what you do want, and the negative side of what you don't want will start to fade out. It won't completely just go away. Like, that's just impossible. But you will start to learn how to shift your mindset towards what you want rather than focusing on what you don't want. Another example I have is people who want to lose weight, right? I always use the same examples. I mean, it's relatable, right? So instead of being like, I don't want to be fat, I don't want to be unhealthy, I don't want to be out of breath when I'm walking up the stairs, things like that, start to say, I want to be happy and I want to lose weight. Think of it that way. I want to be happy and I want to lose weight. Then you'll start thinking, okay, well, how can I do that? I'll start eating better. I'll start going to the gym. I'll start taking the stairs instead of taking the elevator. I'll start parking a mile away from the grocery store so I can walk a little further. Just different things that I can bring in because I'm thinking about what I do want. And as soon as you think about what you do want, you're like, okay, well, since I do want this, then I know that I can make that happen. When I'm thinking about me not wanting to be fat, me not wanting to be unhealthy, then I'm like just down in the dumps, like, oh, I'm sick of this. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like this. I'm not going to say that thinking about what you don't want doesn't lead you to thinking about what you do want, because sometimes it does if you're not caught up in that negative energy and you're just thinking automatically, well, I know I don't want this, so what do I do want? Let me go try to make that happen. But a lot of the times when we're so hyper fixated on what we don't want, it's hard for us to get to that portion of what do I want and then going towards that. Also thinking about it in a way of romantic, like I was using my example, when you're thinking of a partner that you want, I have a list, one big list, honey, that has all the attributes that I want out of a partner. Okay. And it's a pretty nice list. I must say so myself. I'm just like, if this person walked into my life, honey, you can have it all. You don't have to ask me. Okay. But I wrote that down, and I encourage you guys to do that too. If you're looking for love. Well, I don't really like the term looking for love, because I don't feel like you can just find love by looking for it. I feel like love literally hits you in the face when you're not looking. Okay. So I feel like you need to worry about yourself, but I do feel like you need to be specific about the things that you look for in a partner so that you don't just fall for the okie doke, right? So I have a list just so I know what I do want. That's the main reason why I wrote the list, because I was so focused on what I don't want. I was like, I don't want no partner that's like that ex or like that ex, and definitely not like that ex. You know what I'm saying? So you need to be aware of how you're thinking about love and romance when you're dating, because if you're going out here dating and you're just like, oh no, they remind me too much of so-and-so, fair, because you don't want that same energy. That's having discernment. But if you're always like, I don't want my person to be like this person, or I don't want my person to be like this person, you're just going to continue to create those scenarios. Those people are going to continue to be attracted to you because all your energy knows is this person that you keep thinking about, this person that is on your mind, whether it's in a negative or a positive light, they're on your mind, and you're putting energy towards thinking about them. So since you're putting energy towards thinking about them, that's clearly where your focus is. So it's going to bring more of that into your life. Now, if you focus on the things you do want, you eventually start to see those people pop up in your life and you're just like, okay, and that's easier said than done. Of course, you got to go through a lot of healing to get over those past relationships and those exes that left a mark on you. But it is very crucial that you take that time to heal through that so that you can call in what you want. Because if you think about the people who have been in serial relationships and just keep going and don't stop, it's because they keep calling in the same thing. They haven't sat down for a second to heal with themselves, figure out what they actually want, worry about themselves, and then allow love to come to them. They feel like they have to have love. They have to have something to make them feel safe and secure and make them feel as if they're worthy. So they're not allowing themselves to just be and allow things to come. They're forcing everything and they can't find the right one because they're so fixed on the same energy they've been fixed on. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. And yeah, so even though this can be a very logical approach as to here are the steps to start focusing on what you do want, you also have to be in balance and think about the energetic level, aka spiritual level, unknown level, however you view this, okay? Because I definitely believe in the law of attraction. What you focus on comes to you, okay? And the law of polarity, and it's just kind of like things that are alike come together, okay? Like things, okay? And you learn about all of this in The Secret as well. And I don't know about the law of polarity. Maybe. I just know about all the universal laws because I studied that. But like attracts like with the law of polarity. And it's like if you're focused on this thing, whether you're thinking of it in a negative or a positive way, the thing that is like that other thing is going to come and connect, just like the law of attraction. Just remember, you call in what you focus on. Your energy grows where your energy flows, or your energy flows where energy grows. Same thing, no matter how you say it, really. And regardless of what's going on in your life, you can always change your mindset to be more positive. And with baby steps, you can eventually call in what you do want by not focusing on what you don't want. Okay? So it's time for us to go ahead and marry our experience with our knowledge so we can create some wisdom in the lab, y'all. Let's go. All right, so, I got my notebook here. Question number 1. What are some things I do not want? And that can be in love, career, friends, with yourself, whatever the case is. Be very specific. What are some things I do not want? Number 2, what are some things I do want? Be very specific again with love, career, friends, self, whatever. What are some things I do want? Number 3, am I too focused on what I do not want? Okay, and how you can evaluate this is just thinking about your day to day. It might not be at this very moment when you write down this question that you have the answer. You might have to go throughout your day and just kind of evaluate what you're thinking about, or evaluate and recognize when that I don't want this energy comes up. You might just have to look at yourself throughout the week, throughout the month, whatever. It takes time to do this kind of stuff. It's not just like, okay, today I figured it all out. Like, no, you got to take some time, okay? But just try to evaluate and observe yourself. Are you too focused on what you do not want? Okay. After some time, number 4, compare your list and explore what it looks like to change your mindset and what you say. Okay? Because your words are powerful. Your speech is powerful. Okay? So once you change your mindset, you need to start saying out loud what you do want, because you say out loud every day what you don't want. So it's no different. You need to say out loud, actually, I do want this. I do want that. So compare your list, explore, see what needs to change about your mindset, and see what needs to change about your wording and what you're calling into your life. Okay? So I hope that you guys got a lot out of this talk. Normally I say that in the fellowship hour, but I was so ready to get to the questions. I don't know why, but anyway, I hope these questions really help you think, and I hope that the fellowship hour this week was thought-provoking. Get you thinking. Get you changing your mindset, changing your habits, get you changing your perspective so that you can really call in what you want. This is your life, honey. This is your life. And can't nobody bring in what you want other than yourself. Okay. But you gotta know what you want. You gotta know. You gotta know. So yes, you guys, again, I apologize for any audio issues that happen. Oh my God. But we're just gonna go with it because everybody always just goes with it nowadays because look, we all busy and we ain't got time to be re-recording to make everything perfect. Okay. Is the message there? I guess it's there. But hopefully, me and technology, we be friends sometimes. Hopefully I can make it sound as good as possible. I do apologize. But yeah, it is my favorite portion of the show. It is time for a moment where we have a nice little meditation, y'all. Let's go. Hey y'all, thank you for joining me for a moment meditation. We're going to go ahead and get right on into it. If you have not been a part of a meditation with me before, I go through a method for about a minute. It's like a breathing technique. And then for the rest of the time, I let you just fall into your subconscious, okay? So the method that I go through is called the EAR method that I created. It stands for E, embrace. So you're going to embrace your thoughts while you're inhaling a breath. A is for accept. So you're going to hold your breath and accept the thoughts that have come in. And then R is for release. You're going to release your thoughts as you exhale the breath that we inhaled and held. Okay. So when you are breathing, I want you to remember to try to breathe from your diaphragm and your stomach area and not necessarily your chest area. Like, of course, we have to use our lungs and things of that nature, but you want to make sure that you're getting your deep breaths from your stomach. So when you inhale, your stomach expands. When you hold, of course, your stomach doesn't do anything. And then when you exhale, your stomach contracts back. Okay? Before we get started, I want to go ahead and clear the energy, clear your space. So I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath in, hold it, and release. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and release. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. All right. I want you to inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. One more time. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. The rest of the time will be for you to dive into your subconscious, all right? All right, you guys, I hope you had a great meditation. Before I let you go and you link back up with other Katera, I want to just give you some tips real quick. Sometimes I get fidgety in my meditations and I can feel myself moving my fingers around, or I might want to check the time or something. Allow all of that to happen. Embrace that if that happens to you. Don't feel like you have to be, it's like just stone cold straight, no movement. Things will happen. Sometimes I laugh through my meditation. So if you caught me smirking, it's because just different thoughts come up in my head that make me laugh. So there's just different things that happen in your meditation. I just want you to know that whatever your meditation practice looks like, is perfect for you. It doesn't have to look like everyone else's. So if you felt like you were not that successful in this meditation because you didn't finish, or you were fidgety, or you were thinking about things that made you laugh, just know that you were 100% efficient and you did exactly what needed to be done because you grounded yourself so that you can be present throughout the rest of your day. Okay? So I will see you guys in the next clip. Toots. Welcome back, you guys. I hope you guys had a great meditation. I hope you're loving the new meditation setup as well. Same principle, same concept, new look. We love a visual. So I really, 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 really appreciate you guys coming to the shop today and putting yourself first so that you can learn more about yourself, learn a little bit about me, and just work with me a little bit. I love to work with you guys. I can't wait to work with you guys more, which is coming soon. But to keep up with us, you can always find me at the Emotional Workshop on IG. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. If you love to watch, I actually have figured out how to get the videos on Spotify. Okay, I have figured it out. Hallelujah. I got all of my stuff moved over to Spotify. I'm so happy because number one, it's free. Okay, number two, you can do video format, and I just am a Spotify stan. Okay, I've always been a Spotify stan. I've never been an Apple Music girl. I am so sorry. I'm a Spotify girl all day. So I'm just happy about that. So you can definitely watch this video on Spotify, and you can watch it on YouTube if you happen to be an Apple Podcast girl. So without further ado, I hope you guys have a very fulfilling week. I hope you do something that makes you feel loved this week, okay? And I hope to catch you guys in the next session. All right.